busy day.
Super busy.
Man, Tuesdays will do that to you. But we made it, and it's not too cold yet.
Right? I'm like,
Yet. Thank you so much for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We have some big guests and some big news to talk about.
Yeah, I'm covering developments out of Madison, actually. Police are giving us some new insight about the 15-year-old girl who killed a fellow student and a teacher yesterday in school.
And before we get to those stories off the top, let's check in with Jamie, who's stepping in for Ben today. It's good to have you, friend.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Yeah, not too cold. You know, the authority on the cold, right?
Yeah, yes, because you know I'll complain when it gets too cold. I will complain.
It's like a barometer for our temperatures, really. We'll check in with Alexis. You can see folks right there in the southwest corner of the state. Winter weather advisory, that'll be until 9 o'clock tonight. We're going to have a little bit of a snow shower moving through that part of the region, about 1 to 3 inches of snow. So again, we're concerned about some of that slippery roads and those difficult driving conditions. There's a look at the radar. And again, you can see those snow showers pretty much just button up against the Minnesota River Valley. And we're not expecting much around the Twin Cities necessarily with this round, but we will be talking about some heavier snowfall totals coming up a little bit later on this week. It is affecting some of the visibilities right now. You can see Marshall and Jackson about a 2-mile visibility, and even Laverne about 2.5 miles. So do be careful if you're going to be out driving in that part of the state. And right now at MSP, we're just cloudy. Visibility is good, 28, but feeling like 19. We got a little bit of a west breeze right now at around 10 miles an hour. And as we check out the rest of our afternoon going into those evening hours, a couple of flurries or a light snow shower here or there. Primarily South Metro probably has the best chance for seeing a few of those flakes, but temperatures pretty steady and stuck in the upper 20s.
Well, in less than 2 hours, a judge will deliver justice for Maddie Kingsbury, a mother of 2, killed by her ex-partner and father of her kids. Adam Fravel will be sentenced for Kingsbury's murder. He's facing life in prison without the possibility of parole. Kingsbury disappeared in March 2023 after dropping her kids off at daycare. Her body was discovered 68 days later near Fravel's parents' house by the Iowa border. Today's sentencing hearing is in Winona County. That will be live streamed starting just before 2 o'clock. Now to our other top story. We've been getting new details about the school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin that's left a student and teacher dead and 6 others injured. Police say the shooter was a 15-year-old girl, and one of the people who called for help was just in the 2nd grade. Cece, I know that these are very disturbing details. What are police revealing to us now this afternoon?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of new details this afternoon, actually, and I'll get to those in a minute. But first, the big question investigators are working to answer is the why behind this. We know last night investigators searched the home of the suspect. They interviewed the suspect's father for several hours and started working through and trying to verify her social media profile. They're also looking through a possible manifesto.
We have been made aware of a manifesto, if you want to call that, or some type of letter that's been posted by someone who alleged to be her friend. We haven't been able to locate that person yet, but that's something we're going to work on today. We'll also be looking through her effects, if she had a computer or cell phone, to see if there are any transmissions between her and someone else, and that will give us an idea of what type of planning.
Now to another update. Authorities have confirmed 2 people were killed, including a teacher and a student. They say the suspect died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, and 6 others were injured. Of the 6, 2 students have really serious injuries. This afternoon, the school remains a very active crime scene. Police saying that investigators are going to work through the scene and see what new physical evidence they can uncover today. Then at 1 p.m., officials will give updates.
Obviously, this impacting the community greatly. How are they responding to all of this?
Yeah, just super heartbreaking. We're told that later tonight there will be a candlelight vigil at the Wisconsin State Capitol in Madison. But from what I've seen online and in interviews, this has really rocked the community. And this afternoon, many families are looking for answers.
Cece, thank you for keeping us updated on this. Well, a Minnesota angler and hunter said that their rechargeable heated insoles exploded inside his boots and left him with a 2nd and 3rd degree burn. These are the disturbing photos of Tyler Morris's foot after his insoles began to overheat, smoke, and then burn his skin on Thursday. Now, Morris says the insoles were not turned on at the time and he hadn't even charged them in a while. The product sold by the company iHeat is no longer available on Amazon. Tyler and his wife, Michaela, spoke to us over the phone from Tremont, and they urge anyone who's interested in buying rechargeable apparel to do their research or avoid it just altogether.
This happens apparently all the time. In fact, when we got to Hennepin County, the doctor there told us that I was the third person she had seen for this week.
And we found multiple rechargeable products on Amazon with reviews of people saying that they burned them as well. We have reached out to Amazon and iHeat, but have not heard back. Well, right now there's a hearing centered on the legal battle over the Minnesota House race in Scott County. It could finally determine the balance of power in the state legislature. Democrat Brad Tapke won the 54A race by just 14 votes. Republican Aaron Paul and the Republican Party are challenging the result. That's because 20 votes have been reported missing. The county says that they were likely thrown away by election officials in Shakopee. Attorneys are expected to wrap up their final arguments today. Then a judge will decide if the race should head to a special election, and if not, what will happen. Well, happening right now, members of the Electoral College are meeting in their states to vote for president and vice president to confirm the results of the November 5th election. Minnesota's 10 electoral votes are going to Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. Assuming none of the electors will change their minds, President-elect Donald Trump will receive 312 votes to Harris's 226. President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is expected to meet with more than 24 GOP senators on Capitol Hill this week. He's expected to face questions about his views on vaccines and abortion. At his first news conference since winning the 2024 election, Trump defended Kennedy and reaffirmed his support for the controversial figure, despite Kennedy's history of holding anti-vaccination sentiments.
I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there.
Previous comments about vaccines being
Well,
linked to
Kennedy
autism.
has faced criticism for pushing discredited theories that childhood vaccines are linked to autism, and a recent New York Times report states Kennedy's longtime advisor once petitioned the Food and Drug Administration to revoke approval of the polio vaccine. But Kennedy told reporters he's for the polio shot.